our Black History Month celebration. I'm Tristan Mick, and this is Matthias Spotwood, and we are your Black Student Union co-presidents. And I want to thank you all for being here. This is North Cobb's first Black History Month celebration to take place during the school day. So before we get to our performances, I wanted to take this time to remind us of the importance of Black History Month and why it should be celebrated. Black history is not just a story of struggle, it's also triumph, innovation, and culture that has shaped every part of today's society. Black history comes in every shade, whether in science, art, politics, music, activism, or literature. Black people have left an undeniable mark on history. Yet too often, our contributions are overlooked or confined to a single month. As you watch today's performances, understand the privilege of knowing that Black history is living, breathing, and more visible than ever before. It's in the voices that inspire change, the creativity that moves us, and the legacies that shape our future, all of our futures. This celebration is not just about honoring the past, it's also about using our history as a motivation to empower, inform, and uplift one another all year round. So, as we celebrate today, let this be a reminder, Black history is not just February, it's forever. Thank you all again for being here, and let's enjoy the celebration together.
Following the Drinking Gourd is an African-American folk song first published in 1928. The drinking gourd refers to the hollowed-out gourd used by slaves as a water dipper. But here it is used as a code name for the Big Dipper Star Formation, which points to Polaris, the North Star. Legend has it that the song was used by a conductor of the Underground Railroad, Pegleg Joe, guiding slaves to freedom. The lyrics provide instructions and a map, enabling fleeing slaves to make their way north by following the North Star from Mobile, Alabama to the Ohio River and freedom. Please enjoy Follow the Drinking Gourd, performed by the North Cobb Concert Orchestra under the direction of Dr. Paula Bowen. to our guest speaker, Ernest Davis. Ernest Davis is a successful speaker, entrepreneur, and business strategist, deemed as an engaging burst of raw energy for his leadership, unconventional ways of thinking, and passion for helping others to succeed. Starting from humble beginnings, Ernest grew up poor in the small town of West Point, Mississippi, where he managed to forge his own path to success at a very early age, despite the odds against him. With a dream in his heart to become a radio announcer, at the age of 14, Ernest chased his dream to be on the radio and successfully realized it, despite having to overcome a speech impediment of stuttering. Now, as a recognized voice in America, his voice is now heard daily on the radio and television stations across America in commercials and television series. In addition to radio, the fire of entrepreneurship was also burning bright when he was young. So to feed his childhood entrepreneurial spirit, he worked several jobs after high school and on weekends to save up enough money to start investing in stocks and real estate. Later, to buy his first rental house at the age of 19. Determined to lead from within, Ernest built a successful career in business and broadcasting and was recognized at the age of 27 by Ebony Magazine as being one of the 50 leaders of tomorrow. He spent the last 2 decades honing his craft and building a diverse portfolio of successful businesses to include ventures in radio, marketing, and real estate. He's been hired as a marketing consultant for many brands and entertainment companies with rosters to include Music World Entertainment and Beyonce Knowles, Lil Wayne, Drake, Stevie Wonder, Brian McKnight, Kirk Franklin, Nelly, Nicki Minaj, and more. But like many, Ernest faced many challenges and setbacks over the years, but he was always determined to use his setbacks as a set up. Now, he's on a mission to become an unstoppable change agent and helping people and businesses to learn the keys to decode their own success and maximize their true potential. Ernest says, change is inevitable, but growth is not. Therefore, the key to unlocking our true potential lies within our ability to lead from within. His mission is to help change the world by helping people to change theirs by turning their passions into profits and their potential into power. Please welcome Ernest Davis.
Good morning, North Cobb. How are you? Good. No, you can do better than that. I know if you were at a game, you'd have some more rally and pep going on. Good morning, North Cobb. How are you? Good. Hey, all right. My name is Ernest Davis, and I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow pursuers of greatness, I want you to listen very close to me, because many years ago, I was where you are today. And it was the decisions that I made in my life where you are today that has enabled me to be where I am today. Now, so today I stand before you with a message that not only holds the potential for you to birth the possibilities of your life, but to unlock the door to the blessings that God has in store for you. To realize the promises of God and birth your possibilities. Now, can we keep it real for a moment? Before I start, I always like to tell myself something and tell the audience something, because I think this is a true fact. I understand that I need to separate this audience into a third, and then 1%. What do you mean by that, Ernest? Here's what I mean by that. I know that a third of you are here today because they told you to be here today. It's not like you necessarily want to be here, or you could be other places. You may prefer to be at home, hanging out with your friends. I get that. That 1/3, that's cool. Do you. The next third, you're here today because you want to be here. You'll hear something that will pique your interest, and you'll leave and you'll say, that was cool. And then your life continues to be the way it's always been. Then a third of you are going to listen to what I'm saying. Here's something that I'm saying. Really, it's going to intrigue you, and you're going to make every effort to do something different in your life. But the powers of life are going to pull you back to where you are each and every day, and nothing will change. This happens for most people. And then there is the 1% in this room that's going to hear what I'm saying, take it in, something's going to resonate with you, and something that I say today is going to change your life forever. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today for that 1%. And based on what I see in the room, that 1% represents about 7 people. So the other 99%, give me about 19 more minutes and I have you back to the rest of your life. You ready? Yes. Okay, so the 7 people I'm talking to. For the next few minutes, I don't want you to listen to my voice, but rather feel the weight of the words that I'm about to share with you. Words that's going to help you unlock the door to your future and propel you towards success. Today, I want to talk to you about the 4 keys. 4 keys to live a richer and more fulfilling life. Now, the one thing that connects us all in this room, no matter how old we are, teachers, administrators, students, is that we all have a desire for something more, to do more, to have more, to be more, to experience more. How many people, by show of hands in this room, want something more for their life? How many of you have hopes and dreams for a future that's brighter than even your today? That's the common thread, one of the common threads that connects us all. Like you, I had dreams when I was young. And my 2 dreams, when I was about 13 years old, was to be in radio and to be a successful entrepreneur. But there were 2 problems I had to overcome. I wanted to be in radio, but the first problem I had to overcome is that I had a speech impediment. I could not get a word, sentence out without stuttering. But I wanted to be on the radio. Then I wanted to be a successful entrepreneur. I grew up around people who were poor, I grew up around people who were rich, and I made the decision I wanted to be rich when I was young. But we were extremely poor, and I had no one around me to teach me about business. So rather than allowing my limitations to limit my life, I decided to focus on something different instead, what I was most passionate about, which was radio and business. So then I got a tape recorder, and I locked myself basically in a closet every day and pretended like I was on the radio. And I practiced each and every day, and I recorded myself so that I could build my confidence and overcome the stuttering problem. And then for business, I read every book, magazine I could get my hand on. This is 13-year-old, so that I could understand about business, stocks, investing. Then at the age of 14, I was fortunate enough to volunteer at the local radio station. I volunteered there for a year, watching other radio announcers. And then I took side hustles from mowing lawns, even selling candy bars on the side, raking leaves, just so I could start investing into stocks at the age of 14. 15, something magical happened. The moment where opportunity meets preparation. Say it with me. Opportunity meets preparation. That's the magic moment in everyone's life when the door opens. Now that moment for me kind of happened in an odd way. The guy who was training me was by the name of Willie D. He had this little social problem that he liked to drink a whole lot. And he was just straight drunk. He just slurred, he just couldn't come to work. So we called the stations there, I can come in today. Nobody was there who could fill in. They called to try to find everyone. 15 years old, I'm sitting there, radio station, music's playing, songs about to go off, no Willie D. Jack King on the station called me, he says, Ernest, Willie is drunk. Can you finish it? Now here I am asking myself, second guessing myself, Ernest, you've been preparing for this for an entire year. You've been preparing, you've been practicing. Are you ready? I said, Mr. King, I'm ready. I've been preparing for this moment. I opened up that microphone, AM 1450 WROB, this is Ernest Davis in the nighttime, your baka rocking your chop, and I'm here to take your request. Call me right now, 494-1450, Ernest Davis in the nighttime, and this is Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. Now, you started one word. Jack King called me back 5 minutes later, he said, son, you want a job? I said, yes, sir, and I got the job. Fast forward to today, my voice is heard every day, and I'm humbled by this, by over 80 million people every day in households on radio stations across America. I get to consult companies. I get to work with different artists, consult brands. I get to run a number of successful businesses. I have this amazing life, an amazing wife. I mean, amazing life that I get to live, of being financially independent, that I can write checks in 2 areas. Most people sign their checks in 1 area, the back, for deposit only. I get to sign my checks in 2 areas, the front and the back. That dream was created when I was where you are. So what made the difference, Ernest? I mean, you say this to say what? That's one of my wife's favorite phrases. She says, okay, so you say this to say what? What I'm trying to say to you, that what makes a difference between me and you and most of the people in the world and the 7 people that I'm talking to is 6 inches. The distance between this ear and this ear. Ladies and gentlemen, the driving force behind your success is not about necessarily the grades you make, the number of degrees you hold, the positions, the titles, the number of followers you have on social media, the amount of money you make. The driving force behind your success is driven by one thing and one thing only: the way you think. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Your mind has the power to unlock the doors to your future or keep it firmly shut. So if you want to unlock the doors to live a richer and more fulfilling life, I'm going to give you 4 keys. And I want you to remember these 4 keys that you must use. Number 1, to live a richer and more fulfilling life, you got to know who you are and where you are going. See, each day we're blessed with opportunities to live a happier life, to pursue ourselves, to pursue greatness. But most people forfeit this opportunity each and every day because they don't know who they are and they don't know where they're going. And instead they just kind of aimlessly wander through life, living a life of existence rather than a life of significance. Doing the same old thing every single day. Monday looks like Tuesday, Tuesday looks like Wednesday, Wednesday looks like Thursday, Thursday, oh man, here comes Friday. Why am I excited about Friday? Because Friday ain't Monday, because I don't like Mondays. I don't like what I do. The weekend comes, I'm living for the weekend. What happens on Sunday? We get ready for Monday. Monday we get up and do the same thing. Monday, Tuesday, do the same thing. And we get this vicious cycle. And then we practice the true definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again. Really hoping and praying and thinking that something's going to change. Dr. Miles Monroe said something that was very great. He said, life's greatest mistake is to be busy and not effective. Life's greatest failure is to be successful in the wrong assignment. Many of us suffer from the imposter syndrome. We're playing a role that we were not assigned, and we're pursuing paths that we were not meant to take. And I call it the imposter syndrome. Now, it's easy to get caught in imposter syndrome. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, that thing of social media that we have, it allows us to look at ourselves through this comparison, right? I mean, you've been there. I mean, don't even trip. I mean, it's like, I'm talking to grown folks for a second. It's like, here you are, you show up every day, you're working hard, you've gone, you've gotten your degrees, you grind each and every day. So let's say I'm talking to the lady. You and your girlfriends gonna go to a little getaway, right, to Florida. You feeling good about your getaway. Having a great time. So good that you post, girls weekend, Florida, hey. Then you start scrolling. And the first thing you see is your other girlfriend posting a picture with them on a last minute trip to Dubai. Hey! Now all of a sudden you're feeling some kind of way about yourself. You got friends, you get you some new kicks, and you think your kicks are cool, and as soon as you scroll, you see somebody else's new kicks. Now, y'all may not understand what that is. When I was young, kicks was tennis shoes. I don't know, do they still call them kicks today? Yeah. But the point is, when we look through ourselves through the lens of comparison, here's what happens. We lose sight of who we are. What we were created to do, what makes us unique. most importantly, we lose sight of those opportunities that God places before us because we're so busy looking at others, comparing ourselves. Is my life, am I successful, as successful as the guys I went to college with? Am I as successful with the other folks on my team? Am I as successful as my coworkers? Do I get to enjoy a life as good as they do? How do I become the next YouTube star? I want stardom. The imposter syndrome. When you don't know who you are, the world will define you. When you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. This is what I've learned. You do not, life owes you nothing. You do not get in life what you desire or even what you deserve. You get in life what you are. And what you are is based on who you are. When you know who you are, it gives you a sense of identity. When you have an identity, it gives you a sense of purpose. When you have a sense of purpose, it gives you a sense of direction. And it's when you have direction that opens up the world to you. Now, when you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, life is just existing every day. And I think the absolute worst form of existence in life is one without purpose, direction, and significance. So, Ernest, how do we get to know ourselves better? You know I was given this name as a child, and my identity was actually given to me by someone else. The doctor came in and said, what will you name him or her? And your parents said, let's name them this person, Jill, Jack, John, Bruce, Frank. And ever since then, that's what you've been. But who are you really? If you want to get to know yourself, start by doing this. Love yourself enough to see yourself. See your potentials. What are the potentials that are in you? There are 8 billion people on the planet, and no one has the same exact DNA as you or the same fingerprint. That was not an accident. God knew exactly what he was doing. You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. You are endowed with greatness, goodness, talent, skills that make you uniquely different than any other person in this room. Shame on you if you don't take the time to love yourself enough to see yourself. And if you also want to get to know who you are, look deep within your heart. When I was your age, I had to look deep within my heart. Everybody thought because of my size, I should be playing football. Man, I wanted to be in the band. I was a music dude. And I had to fight against what everybody thought I should be based on my size, based on, my other brother's success in sports. That wasn't who I was. So I ask you now to look deep within your heart. Ask you, what is it that puts you on fire? What is it that you are most talented at? What is it that you are most uniquely qualified to do? And then create a clear vision for yourself. Every adult, every young person needs to ask themselves, what does the next greatest version of me look like? Every instructor in here, I want you to ask yourself, here I am, I've achieved this level of success, but what does the next greatest version of me look like? Your best thinking has got you to where you are, but your true thinking will get you to where you want to be. When you love yourself, see what happens is it creates this hunger to do more, have more, experience more. This hunger to create a mark in this world that can never be erased. Why does it create that? Because you know you have something of value. And you want to share that value with the world. 7 people, you still with me?
Yeah.
The rest of you, about 15 more minutes. The second thing to do to live a richer and fulfilling life. First thing, you got to know who you are and what you want. Second thing, you got to let go of small thinking. Learn to think big. Motivational speaker Les Brown said, most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. It's because they aim too low and hit. It's not our abilities or lack of opportunities that really hinder us, it's our thinking too small. We tend to think too small. See, there will never be a shortage of opportunities, but there will always be a shortage of thinking. See, why do we think small? It's the lies. How many of you know that the biggest lies we tell aren't the ones we tell others? It's the ones we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. I got a speaking problem. They will never hire me. I'm too poor. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not good enough. Who am I to be in charge and to be rich? My question is, who are you not to be? That's the greatest question you need to ask yourself. There's greatness in you. See, a powerful truth that I practice is this. Remember this. The diameter of your thinking determines the circumference of your actions. Say it with me. The diameter of your thinking determines the circumference of your actions. Now, Ernest, what is that? So the diameter is the space in between. The circumference is the circle that surrounds a line. So my point is, if my thinking is from here to here, then the circumference of my actions around that thinking is going to be here. But if my thinking is from here and it's this wide, if this represents my thinking, then the actions in my life that I get to enjoy and experience and the amount of life I get to experience is almost the span of a whole stage. What was the difference? I didn't change. The diameter of my thinking determines the circumference of my actions. When you think small, you get small results. When you think big, you get big results. Think small, you get small money. Small bank accounts. Think big, big money. Big bank accounts. So when we think big, we in essence raise the bar for ourselves to maximize our potential. When we think small, we close the door on our potential. And I will submit to you that living beneath your potential is like dying, going to heaven, and meeting the person that you were supposed to become. And realizing what you could have been. That is the truest sense of death to me. So how do we think big? By living out of our imagination as opposed to our fears. Einstein said something great. He said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Why did think about that? We're in a school, and Einstein said, imagination is even more powerful than knowledge. Why did he say that? Because imagination is the preview of what's to come. Imagination forecasts the future. See, every form of creation, every gadget, every phone, everything that we get to enjoy, all first began as an idea. Before anything that will ever come, any cure, it was an idea. Imagination is the proof of what's to come. When I took a tape recorder and I was in the closet practicing to be an announcer, that was my imagination. Why did I do that? Because God gave me a glimpse of the future. So in order to birth that future, I had to use my imagination because I didn't have anything else. We were poor. We didn't have anything going. I mean, it was a struggle. I mean, I love my parents. They did an absolutely wonderful job, and I love them, and they did, I think, the best that any parents could have done. But the challenge was, there were challenges. And I had to overcome those challenges. And I overcame those challenges through my imagination. My question for you today, and everybody in this room, is what are you imagining for yourself? What are you really imagining for yourself? My greatest line in The Lion King is, Simba, you are more than what you have become. In that moment, it revealed that even as king, there's still more. So no matter how successful you think you are, no matter how many followers you have, no matter how much you get paid, no matter how much you think you got it going on, there's still more in you. Scripture says, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the things that God has planned and prepared for you. I mean, we can't even imagine it. The third key to living a rich and fulfilling life is leverage the power of proximity. Here's the truth. It is estimated that you will earn the average sum of the 5 people closest to you. If you want to know who you're going to become in the future, look at the 5 closest people that are closest to you. There was a study of obesity done that kind of demonstrates this, and it was done some time ago, and it's called The Spread of Obesity. And it found that a person's chance for becoming obese increased by 57% if they had a friend who's obese. And here's the catcher. Even if that friend lived out of state. Why? Because people rub off on you. Sidney Poitier wrote a book called The Measure of Man. I love the book. And in the book, he illustrates it like this. He says, here's how it happens. When 2 people go for a walk, no 2 people walk at the same pace. That's just natural. Some walk faster, some walk slower. But what happens in life is this. When 2 people go for a walk, the person who walks faster does one or 2 things. They adjust their pace down to the person who walks slower, or the person who walks slower adjusts their pace up to the person who walks faster. We unconsciously do it because we don't want to leave people behind. So the question I'm asking you, with the people you're walking with, who have you adjusted your pace to? Are you walking at your own pace or the pace of someone else? The power of proximity is this, is understanding that there are really 4 people, I think, in the world. Haters, spectators, motivators, and participators. Now, haters, they're hating on you because you have something in you that they really wish they had in themselves. You're experiencing a level of success that they just deep down inside wish they had. So what do? They hate on you. Now, spectators, they really don't mean you no harm. Those are the people who just spend life scrolling, seeing what everybody else is doing. They're really not really doing anything for themselves. But for them, they just kind of like want to be like life as a sport. Let's just show up and watch other teams play. I'm a spectator in life. I don't mean anybody any harm. I'm just showing up to see what everybody else is doing. The third kind of people in your life are motivators. Those are the people who inspire you to be better, do better, have more, be more, experience more. And then the fourth are participators. Those are the people who actually become a part of your life. They're instrumental in your success by actually doing something to participate in your success. Haters, spectators, motivators, participators. Your job is to figure out which ones are the people around you. Surround yourself with the right people and practice the power of proximity. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, better than you, richer than you, more successful than you. Surround yourself with people who represent who you are, and most importantly, where you are trying to go. I was poor as a child, but I hung around rich people. Not because I thought they were better than me, and not because I was ashamed of being poor, because they had something that I didn't have. So to do that, I had to learn how to have what it is that I wanted. So it's real simple. Figure out what you want in life and find the people who have what you want. And be around them, because people rub off on you. Ask yourself, this is what I do. I practice the 4 P's when it comes to people. If the person that I'm about to speak with and spend some time with is not positive, productive, purposeful, and profitable, I have time for it. Or either I create a certain time that I'm going to limit myself to that. Purposeful, profitable, positive, and productive. The fourth and final thing to live a rich and fulfilling life is to use adversity to advance you rather than to stop you. In this life, you will, not maybe, have challenges. I like to say that in life, you're going to encounter many ships, friendships, relationships, companionships, and most importantly, hardships. Not maybe a financial hardship, a setback, a betrayal of a friend, but in these moments, that's the moment when most people give up. And that's so critical. I want to tell you that in those moments of your challenges and your adversity, use them as a setup as opposed to a setback. Don't give up. Now, Ernest, when life's kicking you in the butt, it's easy for you to say to develop this positive attitude and use adversity to advance you and all the, but how do you do that? The way you do that is by seeing adversity a little different. Sometimes adversity is a season of pruning. Now, pruning is the process where you cut off things, like say from a tree, and you get rid of those things that hinder that tree's growth. The same thing happens to us in life. Sometimes we must be pruned to get rid of those things that no longer serve us, that hinder our growth. That may be a friend, a toxic relationship, a bad habit, somebody you just need to leave behind. Maybe your adversity is a season of pruning. Maybe your adversity is God's way of preparing you for something that you can't handle today. Listen to this. Remember, elevation without preparation leads to failure. If I had not been prepared for the call that came that night, I would have failed, and I never would have gotten the opportunity. Elevation came out of the preparation. That's why I said the greatest thing that can happen in a person's life is when the moment when opportunity meets preparation. So sometimes your adversity is just God getting you ready, emotionally, physically, financially, professionally, because God knows what you need. Just trust the process. Another way of looking at diversity is that it can point you into a direction to do something different. When Einstein was inventing the light bulb, he failed 1,000 times. Literally 1,000 times. That was 1,000 times that he knew not to do it the wrong way. So the point is that we may not get to choose the challenges that we face, but we do get to choose how we respond. We can choose to be a victim of circumstance or a vessel of purpose. So now when you're a victim of circumstance, you blame everybody else. It's her fault, it's his fault, it's my instructor's fault. It's the people who didn't hire me's fault. It's my co-worker's fault. Everybody trying to hold me down. When you are a victim of circumstance, all you do is you place the blame on other people and you never take responsibility for your own condition. But when you are a vessel of purpose, you are an empty vessel that God pours in all the gifts and talents. You pour those out to make a difference in the lives of others. So you have to choose. Are you going to be a victim of circumstance or a vessel of purpose? Now in closing, I want to review. I give you 4 things to live a rich and more fulfilling life. Know who you are and where you're going. Let go of small thinking. Leverage the power of proximity and use adversity to advance you as opposed to stop you. Now, some of you have been listening with your ears, and a few of you have been listening with your hearts. See, here's what I know. For some of you, your mind is arguing right now with your heart. Your mind is saying, no, play it safe. Don't step out. Don't start that business. Don't try to pursue that next degree. Don't try to get that job. Don't try to become the leader of this organization. No, they may laugh at you. But your heart is saying, no, there's more in me. This I know to be true. See, the desire that you have in your heart is not just to exist in this world, but it's to thrive in this world, in this thing called life. That's the one thing that connects us all. You want to live a life that matters, a life that will outlive you, a life with purpose, meaning. There's greatness in you. There's talents and skills and gifts in you that the world needs from you. And it's waiting on you, and it's never too late. The struggle we face, though, is that many of us, when we get to these crossroads, I call them the crossroads of complacency and the crossroads of growth. Most people choose complacency. The 99% of the people in this room are going to choose complacency. Do whatever is easiest. Only 1% in this room is going to choose growth. The choice shouldn't be dictated by how you feel. Success doesn't wait on your feelings, but rather by what you know you must do. Some of you are waiting to be motivated and inspired for the perfect moment. Some of you are waiting on somebody else to greenlight your success, to say, yes, you can. You don't have to let anybody else to greenlight your success. Stop waiting on other people. The world is actually waiting on you. You are the one you've been waiting for. Success is not a matter of chance, but rather a matter of choice. So in this moment, I want you to make the choice. You can either choose to live a life that you are destined to live, or you can choose to live the life that the world gives you. Now, in closing, what I want to do is, I want you to stand. I want you to stand. Everybody, I want you to stand. Now, give me your silence for a second. Listen, I'm going to ask you a question that many people don't like to think about. But it's the realest question that you're going to be asked today. And don't miss this. If you found out today and you were served with a notice that you only had 1 year to live, 1 year to be with the people that you love, 1 year to remain on this planet, what would you do with your life? What would you do differently in your life? Life is too short and unpredictable to not live a life. It's not you. So what I want us to do, whether you've been listening with your ears, whether you've been listening with your heart, is I want you to just take this decree. I call it the best self decree. This decree is the commitment to live the absolute best version of myself. So I want you to repeat after me. There's an assignment for me to accomplish. A calling to fulfill. A deeper realm of life to experience. Today, I choose to live the life that I am destined to live. And to become the person that I am destined to become. Today begins a new day towards living a richer and more fulfilling life. Today, I make the commitment to live the best and greatest version of me. Now high five the person next to you and high five their success. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ernest Davis. I want to thank you for this opportunity and here's to living a richer and more fulfilling life. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we will be hearing Stardust and Okay. So in the song Stardust, the singers call for a home where we can run in memory of Ahmaud Arbery, a home where we can pray in memory of the victims of the Mother Emanuel shooting, a home where we can breathe in memory of George Floyd, and a home to sleep and dream without fear in memory of Breonna Taylor. The poem Stardust by Brittany Ray Crowell is written as a prayer in honor of those whose lives were taken too soon. Thank you.
to our advanced music course for their performance. Our next performance will be by our Wind Symphony, Adoration by Florence Price and transposed by Sheldon Williams. Florence Price was a prolific American composer whose race and gender made it difficult for her contributions to join the widely accepted musical canon in the decades following her life. A trailblazer, Price is considered the first Black woman recognized as a symphonic composer and was the first to have her music performed by a major American orchestra when the Chicago Symphony Orchestra gave the world premiere of her Symphony No. 1 in 1933. Price's catalog of works boasts an impressive array of symphonies, concertos, chamber music, various symphonic works, choral works, piano music, and music for the organ. The goal of this transcription by Sheldon Williams is to grant performers exposure to Price's story and the gift of performing her music outside of its intended medium. Originally composed as a work for solo organ, Adoration was one of the last works Price wrote, but harkens back to Price's early work as an organist accompanying silent films. As critic and author, Alex Ross writes, despite an impressive output of over 300 works, Price is mentioned more often than she is heard, a fact which is only now beginning to be remedied. Please welcome to the stage to North Cobb's Wind Symphony and Associate Director of Bands, Mr. Scott Pennell.
Symphony, and hear a poetry reading by Zorian Lang.
James Weldon Johnson was an early 20th century civil rights activist who was one of the first leaders of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and had significant contributions to art during the Harlem Renaissance. One of his most famous works would be writing what is now the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Here, I have his poem titled Sonnet, which details overcoming hardship through bravery and hope and having perseverance. My heart be brave and do not falter so, nor utter more that deep despairing wail. Thy way is very dark and drear, I know, but do not let thy strength and courage fail. For certain as the raven-winged night is followed by the bright and blushing morn, thy coming morrow be clear and bright, 'tis darkest when the night is furthest born. Look up and out beyond surrounding clouds, and do not in thine own gross darkness grope. Rise up and casting off thy hindering shrouds. Cling thou to this in ever-inspiring hope. Though thick the battle and though fierce the fight, there is a power making for the right.
Thank you, Zorian. Now we will hear Lift Every Voice and Sing. Often referred to as the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing was a hymn written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson. His brother, John Rosamond Johnson, composed the music for the lyrics. A choir of 500 school children at the segregated Stanton School, where James Weldon Johnson was principal, first performed the song in public in Jacksonville, Florida in 1900 to celebrate President Abraham Lincoln's birthday. The hymn is a prayer of thanksgiving to God, as well as a prayer for faithfulness and freedom, with imagery that evokes the biblical exodus from slavery to the freedom of the promised land. Thank you.
Singing the first verse as a solo is Will Get Your Eye.
Lift every voice and sing, till let the heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our parents died. We have come over a way with the tears has been watered. We have come treading the path through the blood of the slaughtered. Facing the gloomy clouds,
Thanks again to our advanced mixed chorus for their performance. Next, we'll have the band performing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Acclaimed international composer Steve Roos offers this warm and elegant setting of the beloved Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. The following are the composer's notes on the arrangement. When I think of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, what I find most moving and extraordinary is the blend of spirit and earth. By spirit, I mean the song's deep and powerful message of hope. By earth, I mean the visceral power of the music, its specific tones and rhythms that resonate within us. Whether the song is performed very slowly or at a brisk pace, its message is never diluted. It only shines in a different light. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot is considered to be a code song or a coded song, and is one of the handful of spirituals that refer directly to the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was neither a railroad nor underground, but it was instead a loose, mysterious web of people and places serving the common goal of helping those bound by slavery to escape. Those fleeing slavery often moved northward from hiding place to hiding place under cover of darkness and disguise. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot was a favorite spiritual of Harriet Tubman, who escaped from slavery in 1849 and is widely considered to be the most famous leader of the Underground Railroad, the Moses of those seeking freedom from slavery. In the 1850s, she made many rescue trips into Maryland to help about 300 slaves escape to freedom. In my arrangement of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, I have tried to capture the fervent, devotional character of the spiritual while coloring this more religious expression with an earthiness. In my version, this earthiness is represented by harmonies that some might consider jazz-like. Bless you. I wanted to create a rich, harmonic web that mingled the simple and sophisticated without straying too far from the basic impulse of the original song. At times, the piece is very simple and pure in heart, and at other times, the harmonies became luxurious, with expressions that cannot be contained or held back. For their rendition of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, here is the North Cobb Wind Symphony and the director of the bands, Mr. David Weavers. thank you again to our Winfield Symphony for their performance, and also to Gabby Johnson, the National Art Honor Society President, for her live painting. After our closing remarks, please be sure to visit our art exhibit in the lobby curated by Mrs. Arana, Ms. De Pietro, and the visual arts students.
We'd like to give a special thanks to all the parents that came out. Mr. David Weavers, the band director, Mr. Scott Pinnell, the assistant band director, Dr. Paula Bullen, the orchestra director, Ms. Candace Cochran, the theater director, Mrs. Carrie Arana, the visual arts teacher, Ms. Natalie De Pietro, another visual arts teacher, Mr. Charles Snell, the choral director, Ms. Lisa Aldridge, our Black Student Union sponsor, Mrs. Andrea Jackson, our second Black Student Union sponsor, Ernest Davis, our guest speaker, entrepreneur, and business. Miss Holly Botello, the assistant principal, and Mr. Matthew Moody, the principal of North Cobb. And we would also like to introduce Dr. Sparks for the closing remarks.
Thank you, North Cobb High School. It is indeed a pleasure to stand before you this morning in celebration of our Black History Month here at North Cobb. Please give another round of applause to all of our students, our staff, to our administrators who helped put this program on together today. Thank you to all of our parents who came out to support all of our students, and also a very special thank you to Mr. Davis. Thank you for such a heartfelt, eventful, promising message that you fill the walls of North Cobb High School with today in this auditorium. Students, just to echo all the thank yous and all the sentiments that Mr. Davis brought to us today, let me personally challenge you. Let me personally challenge you. Mr. Davis left us with so many nuggets of information that are usable today. He challenged us to make sure that we're just not scrolling through life. He challenged us to make sure that we are choosing those people who want to run the race with us, not those who make us fall behind. He also challenged us by saying who he spends his time with. He says he spends his time with people who are purposed, with people who are promising, and people who are profitable. Let that be a manifestation on all of our lives, that we will respond to that call. Let every day here at North Cobb High School be profitable for us in everything that we do, in every class, that we pay our attention, that we give our needs to, that make sure that our return on this investment of time and energy is rewarding. You have been an awesome audience. I give regards for Principal Moody. He's at a meeting this morning, but his heart is also in this room with us. So we appreciate your time, energy, and to our teachers who brought our students, and also to our teachers who are watching through our closed circuit TV. Again, we thank you for being here to celebrate this North Cobb High School Black History Month program. Students, again, purposed, and we do everything decently and in order. Here shortly, your teachers will dismiss you by your classes. So everybody will not get up to leave. We have time to make sure that we leave our auditorium as we have found it. Again, thank you all for your performance today. Thank you for your celebration. Thank you for all the evidence that you've given us that our Black History Month is a great celebration, and we feel that in our hearts. Again,